把钱交给婆娘管的男人，大部分都没得出息。
Men who hand over all their money to their wives often find it difficult to achieve significant accomplishments in life. Don't rush to criticize me yet. Let me explain the reasoning behind this point step by step. First, when a woman insists on managing the finances, it's often a way to control you through economic power. This reveals an underlying lack of trust in you. Think about it. If even your closest partner cannot fully trust you, how can others? How can anyone be willing to collaborate with you to achieve greater success? Second, when you unconditionally hand over all financial authority to your wife, have you considered a very realistic problem? What if one day you encounter difficulties and can no longer earn money, or your relationship faces issues? What will happen then? At that point, you will lose not only financial independence but may also find yourself with nothing left, forced to leave empty-handed, ending up with both financial and emotional losses. The scariest thing in this world is the unpredictability of human nature. When you give her all your money, you are essentially handing over your future to her, letting her decide the course of your life. And women's feelings, at times, are not built to withstand the test of time. Many people say that when a woman turns against you, she can be colder and more ruthless than a wolf. For this reason, as men, I believe you must remember this lesson. Holding on to financial power is not only a safeguard for yourself, but also a way to ensure that you have more autonomy and confidence in your marriage.
If a man hands over all his salary to his wife and keeps only a small amount as pocket money, his way of living can only be described as pathetic. Such a man is destined to achieve nothing significant in life. Yesterday, a friend of mine talked to me about how he submits his salary every month. He works in another city as a construction worker, earning about 10,000 yuan per month. However, his wife demands that he transfers 9,500 yuan to the family every month, leaving himself with less than 1,000 yuan as pocket money. At first, he disagreed with this arrangement. He thought that sending 2,000 or 3,000 yuan per month for living expenses was enough, while keeping the rest for his own use. But his wife was adamant, claiming that men tend to misbehave when they have too much money, and that this was for saving money for the family. In the end, he compromised, following his wife's demand and keeping less than 1,000 yuan for himself each month. However, when he talked to me, he revealed that in reality, the amount he could actually use each month was only 500 to 600 yuan. Last month, he heard from a relative that his wife might be involved with another man, though there was no solid evidence. But where there's smoke, there's fire. He asked me what he should do. At the time, I was drinking with some friends, and when I saw his message, I nearly dropped my glass in anger. My blood pressure shot up. A grown man being reduced to a mere slave. The money he toils hard to earn is something he has no control over. What kind of life is this? He can't even afford 2 packs of good cigarettes without counting pennies, let alone spend 1,000 yuan to treat someone influential to a meal that could help his career. How is he supposed to survive in society like this? Tell me, how can a man without money in his pocket make a place for himself in the world? The word submit inherently carries an unequal connotation, one of condescension and control. Many women manipulate men's lives by controlling their finances, making men obedient. The more obedient you are, the more useless she thinks you are, and the more she wants to dominate you. In contrast, capable men always keep control of their money, and don't let women interfere with it. These men live a fulfilling life and earn the respect of women. Women naturally respect men who are capable, not men who are simply easygoing. Those so-called gentle and good-natured men are often seen as useless in the eyes of many women. If a man wants to stand tall in front of a woman, he must first have competence and strength. Look at those successful men with tens of millions or even billions in assets. They never hand over their salaries to their wives, but instead control their own destiny. Some women, after earning a bit of money or gaining some status in front of their men, tend to act arrogantly. But in essence, what women admire are men who can handle them and provide them with a sense of security, not submissive nice guys. Capable men make the major decisions themselves, leaving minor household matters to women. But there must be a clear distinction between primary and secondary responsibilities. For a man, the greatest leverage in life is money. Without money, you don't even have the confidence to love a woman. Money may not be everything, but without it you have nothing. When it comes to your career, a man must take control instead of being led around by a woman. I come from a poor background, but I believe in being realistic. I don't look down on those who are poor, but I hope every brother understands this. Only when you stand tall yourself can you have a voice. If you can't even handle the woman in your own home, how can you expect to succeed in your career, impress clients, or lead a team? If a man wants to accomplish great things and live a dignified life, he must control his money and pave the way for himself. Let women manage daily life, but major decisions must be yours. Don't let yourself become a pushover. You can love a woman, but you must not lose the spirit of being a man. Thank you, brothers, for listening to me.
不要把钱放在老婆的手里，尽管她是个好女人。
Do not hand over all your money to your wife, even if she is a virtuous and devoted spouse. This is especially true if she is a full-time housewife. It's hard to count how many people have learned this lesson the hard way. For instance, one of my friends had this experience. After getting married, his wife became a full-time housewife. To be fair, she was an excellent wife who was very thrifty and good at managing the household. Besides taking care of their child, she also helped her husband grow his career, increasing his salary from 5,000 yuan to 8,000 yuan, then to 12,000 yuan, and eventually to 20,000 yuan. Thanks to her efforts in managing the household, the family was once very happy and managed to save hundreds of thousands of yuan. However, the problem arose after their child started school. Freed from the busy household chores, the wife suddenly had more free time, and trouble seemed to follow. She realized that her friends, who were once less fortunate than she was, were now living much more glamorous lives. They wore designer brands, used luxury goods, and bought bags and cosmetics without hesitation. She began to feel unbalanced. Why was her life less satisfying than theirs? Although her husband's income was steadily increasing, she felt that these raises could not satisfy her pursuit of a higher quality lifestyle. She no longer wanted a life of just doing laundry, cooking, and taking care of the kids and her husband. She didn't want to continue being a yellow-faced woman. She longed for her own career and a more exciting life. No matter how her husband tried to dissuade her, she had made up her mind. In this family, the decision-making power was not in the hands of the husband who earned the money, but in the hands of the wife who managed the finances. She looked down on small business ventures and decided to invest all the family's savings and even took out additional loans, totaling 800,000 yuan, into a franchise she believed had unlimited potential. She envisioned building a chain within 3 years, going public in 5 years, and being listed on NASDAQ. However, reality was much harsher than the ideal. The family's savings of 600,000 yuan were quickly used up, along with an additional 200,000 yuan loan. At first, the business seemed to be thriving, but in fact, it was running at a loss. Daily expenses alone reached nearly 2,000 yuan, far exceeding the revenue generated by sales. In less than 3 months, the entire 800,000 yuan was gone. The business failed miserably, and the family fell into financial distress. Just last week, this friend of mine, full of shame, came to borrow money from me. I lent him 30,000 yuan. I don't have a lot of money myself, and I certainly don't expect him to pay me back. I've done my best to help him. What's worse is that his wife did not reflect on her mistakes but blamed her husband instead. She complained, "If you could earn more money and let me live a life where I don't have to lift a finger, would I have to work so hard to start a business? If I had married a truly capable man, would I have to go through all this trouble?" In her eyes, her husband's high income was still mediocre, and she even felt wronged by marrying him. In essence, such conflicts stem from a fundamental issue. Men and women often think on entirely different wavelengths. Men strive to earn money to support their families, while women often focus on how to realize their self-worth. If someone who doesn't know how to earn money is put in charge of the family's finances, they might fail to understand how hard it is to make money. Worse yet, they might even grow contemptuous of the man who provides the income. They may think, "Marrying an ordinary man who earns 20,000 yuan a month is already a compromise for me." This real-life story serves as a wake-up call to all men. Do not hand over the hard-earned money to someone who doesn't understand how to earn or manage it. Otherwise, you may not only destroy the financial foundation of your family, but also lose the trust and balance in your marital relationship.
如果一个家庭的经济大权掌握在男人手中，你信不信这样的家庭很难存住钱？
If the financial authority of a family is held by the man, it is often difficult for that family to save money. This is because there are fundamental differences between men and women in their attitudes and perspectives on money. Men typically take on the role of earning money, tirelessly sweeping wealth into the household like a broom. However, they are often less meticulous when it comes to managing and accumulating wealth. Women, on the other hand, are more like a box that manages money. They are more frugal and adept at financial management, sometimes achieving more with less. When men manage the money themselves, they often have a mindset of, spend as much as I earn, believing that the hard-earned money should be used as they please. As a result, it becomes very difficult to save. In contrast, if women hold the financial authority, the situation is often completely different. When women manage money, they see all the funds as their own wealth, which makes them more frugal. Whether it's buying clothes, electronics, or spending on food and entertainment, they are reluctant to spend easily. This is because women feel that every penny saved ultimately belongs to them, a mindset that significantly enhances the family's ability to save. Therefore, men need to understand one important truth. If you want your family to save more money, you should boldly hand over financial authority to your wife.
我今天就把话撂在这儿，但凡把工资卡上交给老婆的
I'm putting it out there today. Any man who hands over his salary card to his wife and then has to ask her for pocket money every month shouldn't expect to achieve much in life. Yesterday, a netizen sent me a private message. He said he earns 10,000 yuan a month, is currently working in Xi'an, and owns 2 fully paid-off apartments. His girlfriend, on the other hand, earns 3,500 yuan a month, is a local from Xi'an, and lives in a village within the city. During a redevelopment, her family was given 3 apartments, so her family is fairly well off. A few days ago, the two of them casually brought up a very practical topic for after marriage. Who will manage the money? The boyfriend's idea was, I'll take care of the big expenses after marriage, and as for your salary, you can manage your own living costs. It should be enough. Unexpectedly, the girlfriend strongly opposed this idea and was very firm about it. She said, after marriage, you must hand over your salary card to me, and I'll give you a fixed amount of pocket money every month. Her reasoning was, this way, we can save money, and our life will be more secure. Hearing this, the boyfriend felt very uncomfortable. His first reaction was, my goodness, how could that possibly work? Feeling quite perplexed, he came to ask me for advice and wanted to hear everyone's opinions. He asked, do other families have similar arrangements? Is this acceptable? Especially handing over the salary card. I just can't wrap my head around it. How should I deal with this? In my opinion, this so-called handing over the salary card inherently implies a sense of inequality, reeking of superiority, and a controlling mindset. Many women seem to believe that as long as they control a man's wallet, they've grasped the key to his life. This notion is actually a big mistake. If a man works hard to earn money, but doesn't even have basic control over how it's spent, his motivation to earn money will quickly be drained. Marriage is about 2 people coming together to form a new family, and the family's resources should be reasonably allocated. However, in this case, the girlfriend is not considering the situation from the perspective of the family unit. Instead, she is fixated on controlling the money. She cares more about who has the power to divide the pie than about how to make the pie bigger and longer lasting. Tell me, can a life like this truly be happy? Marriage should be built on mutual trust, not on financial control to create a superficial balance. For this netizen situation, I think he needs to carefully consider whether the financial arrangement in the marriage can make both parties feel comfortable and respected. If one side is solely focused on controlling the other's income and financial freedom, achieving true equality and happiness will be very difficult.
Today, I saw a news story. A husband earns 10,000 yuan a month, gives 9,500 yuan to his wife, and keeps only 500 yuan for himself to buy cigarettes. He never argues with his wife. However, surprisingly, after much thought, the wife decided to divorce him. Her reason is thought-provoking. She said, he listens to everything I say and has no opinion of his own. I've talked to him, but he continues living the same way as before, without any change. Maybe others won't understand, but I feel suffocated. Brothers in front of the screen, especially those who are married, Are you also in a similar situation? Every month, you hand over most of your income to your wife, keeping only a little pocket money for yourself. This phenomenon is actually not uncommon. There's a lot to explore behind this story. Below, I will analyze this situation in detail from two perspectives. Why are so many men in marriage willing to hand over their salary cards, or even give most of their income to their wives? First, this is influenced by our traditional culture. It is considered natural for men to earn money to support the family and hand over their salary cards. In our parents' generation, such family arrangements were generally unproblematic. At the time, income levels were low, and women were generally frugal and good at managing the household. Men handing over money to women indeed helped achieve harmony in the man works outside, woman manages the home model. However, times have changed. Today, some women are no longer as frugal and diligent as before, but are instead enthusiastic about consumerism. They freely spend their husband's money, shopping excessively. Some even show contempt for their husbands while spending their money and may betray them, engaging in flirtations with other men. This shows that traditional values need to be re-examined and adjusted in the modern context. Second, another reason men willingly hand over their salary cards is their own inadequacies. Many men lack ability and confidence, so they hope to please their wives with money, using financial support to secure their wives' hearts. This approach, however, is a hidden sign of insecurity. As the story in the news reveals, money cannot keep a woman. Trying to control someone with money often leads to losing both the relationship and the money. Women are emotional beings. They crave emotional value more than just financial support. A man who only provides money unconditionally but neglects emotional interaction and attraction will eventually be discarded. The wife in the story explicitly mentioned feeling suffocated because her husband had no opinions of his own and always acted timidly. This is a clear example of a lack of emotional value. From the perspective of women's psychology, why do some wives grow tired of completely dependent husbands, even to the point of divorce? In marriage, women tend to prefer control over finances and emotions. But when they completely dominate a man, they often lose interest in him. This is a common psychological phenomenon. When someone feels that their partner poses no challenge, they gradually find the relationship dull and uninteresting. Therefore, the wife in the news felt suffocated not because her husband was bad, but because he lacked individuality and independence. So, what should men do? In marriage, you need to learn how to give while also maintaining a certain degree of reservation. Don't let your wife completely control your material and emotional world. Instead, maintain a close yet distant state, making yourself a challenge that cannot be fully controlled. This keeps the attraction alive. In other words, men need to maintain a certain degree of advantage in spirit and demeanor, rather than blindly catering to their partner's demands. This also explains why some bad boys or players are so popular among women. They know how to use emotional value and personality to attract women, rather than relying solely on money. This is not to advocate for men to hurt women, but to remind everyone that women need a man who can provide emotional stimulation and someone they can admire, not just a submissive tool. Sadly, many men do not understand women's psychology at all. They cling to the traditional good man standard, such as handing over their entire income to their wives, thinking this will win their love. But in reality, the outcome often contradicts their expectations. Sustaining a long-term marriage requires not only financial support, but also emotional intelligence. If a man lacks rich relationship experience, it's difficult for him to take the lead in marriage. So, I want to tell all the brothers watching this. Understanding women's psychology and mastering emotional value in marriage is the key to maintaining a long-term relationship. Stop trying to please your wife with money alone. Instead, strengthen your understanding, attraction, and emotional connection to solidify the foundation of your marriage. Brothers, do you agree with my perspective? Feel free to join the discussion. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us, and we will continue to bring you better content. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.